Hello, I'm Utsaf Parekh. This is the Firstpost Defence Summit, Future Forward. So we have with us Rear Admiral Rahul Shrawat. Admiral Shrawat was with us in one of our panels. He brought off a lot of points which we do want some elaboration on. So, sir, the first question, as we were talking, you said the Scorpion submarine deal is a game changer for India. And you spoke about technology transfer and how France is a tried and tested partner. Could you please elaborate?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned about our how the Indian Navy's submarine fleet has been built over years. So in the beginning, we had got certain number of submarines from Russia, but these were mainly as a sales transaction that we bought. So in that, there was no provision to manufacture or build any submarines in India, but we were happy operating those submarines, buying outright. Thereafter, we had an agreement contract with Germany, HDW at that time, which is now TKMS, to build 4 submarines for the Indian Navy, out of which 2 were to be built in Germany and 2 later on in Mazagon Dock. It happened, but somehow the whole contract went into some controversy, etc., which had nothing to do with the Navy, etc., but it was beyond the scope of anyone, and thereafter the project could not be continued. So it is after a gap of almost 20 years, when we were struggling to find out some way out, finally it was with France that the Indian government decided to have a contract to build 6 Scorpion submarines in India at Mazagon Dock. Now, I think the one uniqueness of this program was that the first platform itself was built in India. It was not that 2, 3 over there and 3 here. It was built from the first one in India. And the French collaboration, the help, I would say, which by way of an overseeing team, which was positioned in Mazagon Dock, was only for the first 2 boats. After that, MDL has built the remaining 4 boats on their own, so which demonstrates the success of the TOT between the Naval Group France, which is a French company, and Mazagon Dock. So this is a very satisfying, I think, project, and as it has come in newspapers, that 3 more are now to be built, which government has decided. So this program will continue, and it will also help retain the skills of Mazagon Dock in building submarines.
All right, sir. So my next question was, we are building with the French. Whatever we're building, what do we do with it after we have our fill? What is the plan for exporting surplus?
Yeah, so it's a good question. There is a great potential to export these platforms to neighboring countries to start with. And not only submarines, today talks are there to export surface ship platforms such as OPVs to a neighboring country in collaboration with France, Naval Group France. Similarly, there are talks at advanced stage to have a submarine exported to some of our neighboring countries in Southeast Asian nations, for example, Philippines or Indonesia, vagara. There is great potential. And I think it is very promising. And as I said during my talk, that there's a great will by the government, by the Modi government, to make sure that we leverage our industrial defense industrial capability for export purposes, because export is a part of foreign diplomacy. It creates our influence. So I think there is a great potential in this direction. In the naval area, many things are happening, and I'm sure in other areas, armaments such as BrahMos we have talked about, several things are happening in our neighboring region. And as Honorable Raksha Mantri said today, that this year I think we have achieved almost 20,000 crore, and in a couple of years we want to take it to at least 50,000 crore, which is a target which in my opinion is achievable.
Now, we were talking about this earlier, how France is helping us build a submarine. There was technology transfer. Now we might be exporting a submarine as well. That almost looks like we're cannibalizing France's market. but that may not be the case. Why would you say so?
So it is, you see, I think both sides, that is, I would say India and France, understand that when we have a collaboration for this kind of export, I think it is a win-win situation. Okay, because when some work is done in India, it becomes cost-effective. We are talking about market in countries in our neighbor which are not, they don't have big budgets to buy platforms. So their budget constraints are there. And I think if India and France collaborate and have a work share in which the overall costs come down, it is a very achievable thing. So it is not a, I think it is not a competition between, let us say, Indian government or French government or two entities, say Maison-Doc and Naval Group. It is a collaboration. It is a joint manship through which we can win exports.
And what would be the target areas? You mentioned India's neighboring countries. You mentioned countries in Southeast Asia. It goes all the way to Africa, according to you in the session.
True.
Right? Where does India's potential export market begin? Where does it end?
So I think it should not end. It is beginning, and it will only grow and grow. And as I said, that you see, we have got enough scope for export, because if we are manufacturing something for Indian Defence Forces, I think this product is good enough for many countries, for many countries to be exported to. So it is the will, I think, of the government which is reflecting in the manifold increase of exports. And I think there's no limit to that. I think we'll reach all over the world. And we should be a big armament export countries. Today we have the stigma of being the largest importer. As on the RM said, Pradhan Mantri also said that we should be the largest exporter of armament in years to come.
Let's hope that works out. Thank you so much for coming.